At Permata Bank, we believe everyone can achieve their success. That is why in every opportunity or challenge, you need a trusted partner for the best solutions, connecting you with endless opportunities across nations, nurturing every idea and empowering your growth, giving you access to ASEAN and to the world. As a local bank powered by a regional banking network, we focus on your future. So whatever your vision to grow, you can count on us to stand by your side. Growing together with Permata Bank.
What if we reinvent the way we run our business to create a better environment for us, for the next generation, for a greener future? Permata Bank, as part of Bangkok Bank Group, will help your business to make a positive impact for our world, transforming your business into a sustainable future. Expand beyond borders and improve supply chain efficiency. Real-time digital solutions that keeps you one step ahead. Enjoy the ease of running your business effortlessly from the palm of your hand. So let's reshape our future with Permata Bank.
At Permata Bank, we believe everyone can achieve their success. That is why in every opportunity or challenge, you need a trusted partner for the best solutions, connecting you with endless opportunities across nations, nurturing every idea and empowering your growth, giving you access to ASEAN and to the world. As a local bank powered by a regional banking network, we focus on your future. So whatever your vision to grow, you can count on us to stand by your side. Growing together with Permata Bank.
What if we reinvent the way we run our business to create a better environment for us, for the next generation, for a greener future? Permata Bank, as part of Bangkok Bank Group, will help your business to make a positive impact for our world, transforming your business into a sustainable future. Expand beyond borders and improve supply chain efficiency. Real-time digital solutions that keeps you one step ahead. Enjoy the ease of running your business effortlessly from the palm of your hand. So let's reshape our future with Permata Bank.
At Permata Bank, we believe everyone can achieve their success. That is why in every opportunity or challenge, you need a trusted partner for the best solutions, connecting you with endless opportunities across nations, nurturing every idea and empowering your growth, giving you access to ASEAN and to the world. As a local bank powered by a regional banking network, we focus on your future. So whatever your vision to grow,
satu tekad yang pasti, jadikan hidup lebih bernilai untuk membangun Indonesia. Bersatulah demi kemenangan, jalin tali persaudaraan, tak lelah berkarya demi bangsa, mengabdi untuk masa depan. Permata milik kita semua, dengan satu tekad yang pasti, jadikan hidup lebih bernilai untuk membangun Indonesia. Jadikan hidup lebih bernilai untuk membangun Indonesia. Untuk membangun
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Arnita Rosiana, and it is a pleasure and truly honored for me to serve as your host for today's Permata Bank Economic Outlook 2026, Reviving Domestic Growth, Navigating Global Shocks. Before we begin, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to our distinguished and honorable guest, Bapak Febrio Kacaribu, PhD, Director General of Economic and Fiscal Strategy of Ministry of Finance, Bapak Vikram Sinha, President Director and Chief Executive Officer of PT Indosat Tbk, Bapak Adi Rahman Adiwoso, President Director of PT Pacific Satellite Nusantara, Bapak Bani Maulana Mulia, President Director of PT Samudra Indonesia Tbk, Dr. Kopsak Putrako, Director and Senior Executive Vice President Bangkok Bank, Bapak Sorab Mishra, President Director IVL Indonesia, Kun Patama Sirikul, ESG Steering Committee PT SCG Indonesia. I also would like to welcome Kunchatsiri Sopon Panich, President of Bangkok Bank and President Commissioner of Permata Bank and the Board of Executive of Bangkok Bank. Ibu Meliza Rusli, President Director Permata Bank, along with the Board of Management of Permata Bank. Ladies and gentlemen, the Permata Bank Economic Outlook 2026 aims to provide valuable perspective on the economic landscape ahead. Today, our distinguished speakers will share insights and well-rounded understanding on Indonesia's current economic, emerging opportunities, and strategies to navigate the dynamic business and political environment that are shaping our nation's future. We hope the ideas and knowledge shared today will inspire us all to take informed decisions, embrace change, and collaborate toward building a more resilient and prosperous economy in the years ahead. And now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, to officially open today's event and extend a warm welcome to all of you, we would like to invite on stage Ibu Meliza Rusli, President Director of Permata Bank, to deliver the welcoming remarks. Ibu Meliza, the stage is yours.
Good morning, distinguished guests and Permata Bank customers. Welcome to Economic Outlook 2026. It is an honor for me to have you all today. And allow me to extend my highest regards to Bapak Dr. Febrio Nathan Kacaribu, Director General of Fiscal Policy, Ministry of Finance, Republic of Indonesia. Kunchatsiri Soponpanich, President of Bangkok Bank and President Commissioner of Permata Bank. Our esteemed speakers who will share their insights, and all the guests coming here today with us. The world is changing fast and unpredictably, and Indonesia stands at a defining moment to move forward. The year ahead poised with transformation, driven by fiscal strength, regional integration, and digital innovation. Overall, to revive domestic growth and to strengthen our economy resilience. Our fundamentals remain strong: a vast domestic market, a young population, and a government focused on food, energy security, digital transformation, and human capital. Indonesia entry into BRICS opens new doors for collaboration, investment, and growth, expanding our relevance on the global stage. Sustaining growth will take more than policy. It requires bold execution, agility, collaboration, and confidence from government, businesses, and financial sectors working hand in hand. Today's discussion will explore two major themes shaping our future. Digital transformation, how technology, connectivity, and AI redefining competitiveness. And sustainability, how responsible growth will be the true measure of resilience. Together, they are driving productivity, inclusivity, and long-term prosperity. Permata Bank, in partnership with Bangkok Bank, is committed to support all of you in navigating this uncertainty and unlock potentials with insights, solution, and connectivity across ASEAN and beyond. Thank you very much, and I wish us all for insightful and this insightful and inspiring discussion ahead. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Ibu Melisa, for your remarks. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are now ready to begin our first session of today's forum. It is an honor to welcome Director General of Economic and Fiscal Strategy of Ministry of Finance to deliver the keynote speech. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Bapak Febrio Kacaribu.
Good morning. Oh, that was too loud. I didn't expect that. Let me see. Hold on a sec. Okay, I was given a note with some names I have to mention. Okay, good morning everyone. Distinguished guests, Kun Chatsiri Sopon Panik. I hope I pronounced your name correctly, sir. President of Bangkok Bank and President Commissioner of Permata Bank. Ibu Melisa Musa Rusli, President Director of Permata Bank. Leaders from Permata Bank, esteemed economists, and of course clearly the, prime customers of Permata Bank. And I also was updated, there were some delegates from Bangkok as well. Welcome to Jakarta, our friends from Bangkok. Ladies and gentlemen, we were supposed to have Pak Purbaya here this morning, I know, but you have to settle with me, I'm sorry. Most of the stuff that I'm going to be talking about is quite already familiar to majority of you, and I'm going to take this opportunity as well with our friends from Bangkok for us to be able to update you as well with the current economic condition of Indonesia and what we are aspiring to achieve within the next several months, and also to see what happened and what we can achieve next year and on until 2029. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not easy world that we are living now. It is not a normal situation that we are facing. Clearly, everybody's knowing that. Right at this moment, we have the ASEAN Summit in Kuala Lumpur, and we are closely following what's going on over there. We have the United States visiting the region, which is good. We would like to see more of those. We know that the region also has been collaborating very well and very strongly with China. We know that Southeast Asia is one of the strongest in terms of growth and potential of growth. So again, that is why it is very opportune time for us also to see our friends from Bangkok coming here to Jakarta and to see to further and also to foster further the collaboration of the economies within the region. As you can see, and you all aware, Indonesia is the biggest country economy in the region, but also we know that we cannot work by ourselves. We know that we are collaborating with our neighbors, with Singapore, with Malaysia, Brunei, Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, and so on. We know that we are growing this region as a unity, and as much as possible we can grow and collaborate with each other, the better the outcomes are going to be. We see that there's some trade negotiations going on between the US and some other countries. I think it is good for us to also make sure that the region is growing together. The challenge will be always there, but we know that Indonesian economy is resilient. We've shown in the last several quarters, and in fact, in the last maybe 10 to 15 years, Indonesia is one of the most resilient economies in the world. Among the biggest economies in the world, let's say 20 economies biggest in the world, Indonesia is probably one of the most resilient, maybe together with China and India and some other countries. Indonesia is now number 16 in terms of GDP. So this is not a small economy. It is not too big either, because we are facing big economies like US, China, India, and so on. So it is always to the best of our interest for us to be able to collaborate. Sectoral wise, you see that we've been growing quite a lot in manufacturing. And then recently we've been growing a lot also in service sectors. But notably, we have seen very strong growth in the last several years in terms of us utilizing and maximizing the potential coming from our natural resources, especially what you probably familiar with. We've been calling this downstreaming of our mineral resources, of our natural resources. This has created a lot of growth in the last several years and has more than compensated some of slowing downs in other sectors. But one sector that we would like to, based on also the aspiration of the president through what he called Asta Cita, one of the biggest attention is actually on the agriculture. Agriculture in Indonesia is big in terms of the size. It employs more than 40 million people in this particular one sector only. But in the last several years, it's been growing very slowly. If you can see, in the last several years, very rarely we see agriculture sector grow faster than 2% a year. But in the last 2 quarters, we've seen the average growth rate of the agricultural sector is about 6%. It was a big jump in the first quarter, about beyond 10% growth rate for the agriculture. But then the second quarter, we slowed down a bit, but on average, we are now at about 6.5% growth rate of agricultural sector. It is taking a big chunk of our economy, and it is employing a lot of Indonesian, arguably probably not as competitive and productive, but this is the area that we see and the president sees that the biggest jump that we need to make, especially making sure that the welfare of our farmers and also welfare of our people. Now, other sectors still going to be growing: transportation, tourism. You will see that the accommodation and hotels and restaurants are going to be growing, following the lifestyle of our middle class and also the potential that we have from our tourism, from our tourists coming to Indonesia. You can see that in terms of the consumption, it is very resilient. All the time we grow by around 5%. The key here for us is to make sure that our investment still going to be leading the economic growth. And of course, at the same time, we are looking at the opportunities, albeit some threats, from our trade sector. So you can see that our export will be growing faster, again, with a lot of collaboration with our friends in the region and also some other big economies as well. Investment is a key, and I will further emphasis on this particular impact and effect when I'm talking about more material. Now, next slide is one of the true examples of why we think that our trade should be one of the leading sectors of our economic growth. So if you go to the next slide, despite the condition of the global economy with a lot of trade war or trade disputes, especially talking about the reciprocal tariffs from the US, see what happened to our trade surplus in the last 1 year. It's growing by close to 50%, same period of time, during the very challenging time of everybody talking about it is hard to export, it is hard to open market because of a lot of tariffs, because of a lot of non-tariff barriers. Now, we see that this is still a good potential for us despite all of the challenges. We know that we need to further open our economy, and we would like to go into other sectors as well. But we see that what I called about downstreaming sectors have been the leading sectors of our export and our productivity. That is very showing. Very simple step, well, I'm gonna put it quote unquote, simple step of downstreaming from raw materials, from ore to be manufactured, becoming a smeltered product. That's probably only one notch of increase in terms of downstreaming, but it is already showing and resulting in a lot of extra value added and extra export from our country. So we would like to further downstream our natural resources, not stop until just where we are now, smelting, but we would like to see more of the downstreaming. For example, if we see copper from the ore to the cathode, that's already creating jobs, investment, and extra value added here in Indonesia compared to when it is exported as concentrate and then it is further processed in some other countries. Now we have all of the value added here up to the level of smelter. And some of the information that probably not many people knew before, in the content of the concentrate of copper that we exported, we used to export, it actually contains silver and gold. So at the same time we say, I saw there's Aman here, President Director. So when we say that we're not allowing you to export concentrate anymore, by saying that it actually means that they have to build not only smelter for the copper cathode, but they also have to build smelter for gold and silver. So the value added is not only coming from the copper cathode itself, it is now coming from the additional process of smelting gold and silver. So this is the kind of example that we're gonna pursue further. We would like to see more of cables factory here in Indonesia to further downstream of our product. Next, looking at what we have here domestically, especially when we are trying to make sure that our economy is resilient, we want to make sure that also the price stability is one of the cornerstone of stability of the economy. And it is already showing, and some people probably argue, is the price needed to be that low? So we're probably gonna see a little bit more of push from our fiscal policy and collaboration with our monetary policy for us to push a little bit further in terms of the demand creation. Because if you have lower inflation rate and stable, that's good on one hand. But if the inflation is a bit too low, that could also mean that the demand side is not really growing as much. So we would like to see our possibility for us to push a little bit further on the demand side. So this is one of the rationale for us to push our credit. Indonesian government had some extra cash that we used to put in the Bank of Indonesia. We say, why don't we just put in the banks and then see what's going on? And it's been showing good and positive results. 5 banks receiving this placement of fund. Indonesian government receiving the same yield as we were putting them in central bank. So there's no cost for us. But what it does is it helps lowers the cost of funds in some of these banks. And the lowering of this cost of funds is actually transmitted further to other banks as well. This is quite early to evaluate the result, but we did this placement of funds, about 200 trillion rupiah, back in the middle of September. And we are seeing some of the good results of additional credit being created and lowering cost of funds. So a lot more activities can be supported by the banking system. I'm quite excited to see what Permata Bank has been doing in many, many years with collaboration with Bangkok Bank. We see that this is quite peculiar for a foreign bank in Indonesia. I was updated by Bu Melissa. It is what, 90, and what is the percentage of the shareholders? 90% is Bangkok Bank and the rest is public. It is quite a testimony to me how a foreign bank can see potential and opportunities here in Jakarta and Indonesia overall. We see that there are a lot of similarities between Thai economy and Indonesian economy. There's also quite similarity in terms of taste of food, I suppose. I like tom yum, by the way. It's really one of my comfort food. But regardless, we see a lot of similarities in terms of the economic interest and also potential in terms of the customer base of Thai economy and also Indonesian economy. So it is really good to see folks from Bangkok to come here and then take a visit. I bet similar thing happened between Indonesian business people with the Thai business people to exchange and collaborating. Further, we see the potential for the economic growth the next quarters. We see that after the putting of the placement of fund, 200 trillion in the banks, again, it's too early to assess, but we start seeing some good results. And we start seeing some positive sentiments from the consumers and also from consumers who would like to spend their money on consumption. Now, another thing that we always watch from the government side, also in collaboration with Bank of Indonesia, is making sure that our external position is always quite stable. We know that there have been a lot of challenges since the fact that we are a quite resilient and quite prudent in terms of our fiscal. As a result, our bonds, our 10-year bonds, is now maybe one of the lowest yield ever. We are now reaching territory of below 6% for the yield of 10-year bond. But the fact that we are also at par with some of our competitors, we also see that our currency risk still easing. We see that the difference between 10-year rupiah with 10-year US Treasury is actually shrinking. So that actually means that we are a little bit sought after by our investors, which is good. But also at the same time, we see that our country risk is also well maintained. That's the difference between US Treasury 10-year with our Indonesia global bond as well. There are some challenges that we face in the earlier of the year in terms of the capital outflow that we are seeing now. It is now reversal, and we are quite optimistic that the coming quarters we are going to see more of potential of growth and more of a potential for our investors to come back to our economy. Next, in the medium to long term, we always see our unemployment, we need to go lower, and our poverty rate also to go lower, just to make sure that our economic growth is always accompanied by quality of our welfare for our people. So this is always in the mind of our government as a policymaker. We would like to make sure that economic growth will have to be there and have to be growing faster, but it has to be resulting in lower unemployment, lower poverty rate, means that we are checking all of the lights when we are moving forward as in terms of our dashboard in economic growth. Now, moving forward, there's a little bit of confusion sometimes from our investors. What is Prabowo economy going to look like? What is Indonesian economy going to look like in the next 5 years? It's easier for me to simplify it in 3 pillars. A lot of people probably already familiar with this. Some people call it Sumitronomics. But this is very handy and very simple for us to summarize what we are trying to do for the next 5 years at least. First, we would like to achieve high economic growth. That is very important for us because, if you see, we've been growing in the last 10 to 15 years at the growth rate of 5% per year. And we've seen what it does to our economy. And we have seen how it changes and it transforms our economy. But we need to go a little bit faster. Why? Because we are now in the moment of having this, what we call demographic bonus. You have heard about this a lot, but this is a real thing. Before 2040, we have to grow a lot faster because after 2040, our demography will be much older. So we want to make sure that when you are young, that's what people say, right? When you're still young, you want to get rich faster. Don't get old before you get rich. So some of the adagium that people are always saying. So this is the kind of simple thing that we would like to do. And especially because we know we got the potential. We believe that we can grow beyond only 5% per year. So that's the first tenet of the three pillars. The second is what we say that equitable distribution of development benefits. That's why you see in Asta Cita of President Prabowo, a lot of budget devoted for human capital, while maintaining also the vulnerable and poor to be still protected in terms of the welfare and also even in terms of the purchasing power. When we say that we have this nutrition program, food nutritious program, this is for the benefit of 82.9 million recipients. To some people, that's probably too big. It's true. I don't think many countries have done this. Even India is probably to the tune of 100 million recipient a day, given the very big size of India. But in many countries, not so many people, not so many countries have done this, such a big, huge of operation. So we're gonna appreciate when we have the new agency appointed to take care of this program of food program, trying to target about 80 million recipients a day. That is such a huge undertaking. Up until today, if I'm not mistaken, we have reached about 30-something million recipients, which is, again, on itself already huge. We're talking about 11 to 12,000 centers of kitchen, each producing about 3,000 meals a day. Again, if you can imagine, this is, I don't know how big Permata Bank in terms of operation, but if you think about the operation-wise, if you reach 80 million recipients a day and you receive about 300 trillion budget a year, I bet this is similar to any Fortune 500 operation. So we can only appreciate when it already achieved so much, when we have now at least about 30 million recipients a day. We would like it to grow further to 80 million, but we would like to see it happens in a very stage-wise and in a very good organization-wise. The third pillar, of course, we will always, whenever we grow faster, whenever we make sure that the distribution of the benefit of development is received by many parties in our economy, but also at the same time, the government will be in collaboration with the central bank, especially, and also the OJK in terms of the financial stability. We would like to make sure that stability is still there. We want to grow fast, but we don't want to grow in a such unstable way. So again, these three pillars, it's very simple, but it's, you know that this is what we've been talking about and been doing in many, many years. Now, we've been talking about engines of growth. Fiscal is clearly one of the engines of growth. It needs to be in the center of the economic growth. We would like to make sure that about 200 billion US dollars worth of our spending every year to be directed as good as possible, as well as possible, to the beneficiaries, especially to the sectors that we would like to target to grow faster, namely the human capital. But also at the same time, fiscal cannot be the only engines of growth. We know that our financial sector, banking sector, needs to be part of these engines of growth. Hence, we would like to revive the fact that after several quarters, we see the slowing down of credit, slowing down of performance of financial sector. This is one of the reasons why we would like to jumpstart our financial sector by, simply by moving our cash of 200 trillion rupiah to the banking system. Again, at no additional cost to the government, but giving help to boost by lowering the cost of funds at the banking system and trickling it down to other banks that are non-recipient and creating more of economic activity. But last but not least, you can't just have fiscal, you can't just have financial sector. But again, you know this, we have to make sure that the business climate is actually getting better. So again, it's very simple tenet, and it is easy to say, but we're gonna need to work hard on this clearly. So I'm gonna jump a little bit to slides on pillar of economic growth before I'm gonna close because, okay, this is one one of the engines of growth I would like to show. Go to slide 18, please. Slide 18. So fiscal is one thing. It has to be more efficient and more productive in pushing the economic growth. Financial sector, on the other hand, needs to be growing faster and more efficient and with lower cost of fund and able to attract more investments and economic activities, and you fund them. But another big initiative, big engine of growth, and maybe this is one of the most determining factor whether we're going to succeed or not in utilizing our fiscal and financial sector engines of growth, is making sure that the business climate is getting better. I know this is, again, we've talked about this, we said about this a lot in many, many years, but the current minister, Minister Purbaya, has this very close to his heart. This is just examples of things that we are working on, but I think we're gonna need to work a little bit more detail on this. We've had some, we go to the previous slide, please. Not this one, just the previous, this one here. So these are examples of what we have done in the last maybe 1 year. Some reform, for example, the government regulation number 28. What it does is, one of the keywords that I like about this government regulation is what's called positive fictive. To me, this is a new word. I never heard of this word before. I don't know if you have heard of this word before. It's called positive fictive. Sounds like the title of a novel or something. Positive fictive is basically means that when you are applying for business licensing, for permit to any government with lots of bureaucracies, usually it doesn't come with service level agreement. Usually you go to the government office and applying for some license or permit, and then God knows when you're gonna get that permit eventually. So what this government regulation does is saying to the bureaucrats, hey, you cannot do that. You have to have SLA. If we say 2 weeks, it has to be 2 weeks. When you're applying for a permit and it says that it has to be 2 weeks, if you don't give an answer within 2 weeks, that means that the permit is given. That's quite mind-boggling, but this is true. You need to have this kind of regulation, not only regulating the businesses. When people talking about regulation, people are talking about regulating the business people. What about regulation regulating the bureaucracy? This is the kind of regulation that, to me, kind of giving some breakthrough. This is still in the early stage of implementation. We would like to see how much we can actually implement this, because you can easily guess, it is not going to involve only central government bureaucracies. A lot of permit and license is actually now at the level of local government. That's the beauty of this. This is encompassing not only the central government bureaucracy, but also to the local government bureaucracies. One of the big example that people have been talking about when they're applying for licenses is about environment, about AMDAL. It could take years if you can get any AMDAL after all. So this is the kind of initiative that we're trying to do, just some examples, and we are going to watch the implementation of a lot of structural transformation, people call it, there's a lot of big words up there, but we would like to see in a very practical manner. Purbaya, Ministry of Finance, would like to see directly, to talk directly to the business players. So we've been meeting with associations, with group of businesses coming to our office and telling us what their problems are, and we try to solve them one at a time. So probably you're familiar with Purbaya. He used to be serving at the KSP. This is probably the same kind of work ethic that he has for us to see further, not only fiscal engine, not only financial sector engine, but the business climate need to be improved in reality. Last but not least, I would like to point out a little bit of your attention to the role of Danantara. Danantara is now one of the biggest sovereign wealth fund in the world, maybe. And for Indonesia, this is our very first time creating such a big consolidated sovereign wealth fund, which comes as a result of consolidating hundreds, if not thousands, of state-owned enterprises and also the subsidiaries. In the past, we used to have Ministry of State-owned Enterprise, but we didn't have such a big consolidation of these state-owned enterprises in one holding. There are a lot of things I could say about this, but I would like to point only to one point. One is our state-owned enterprises in the past used to be every single year spend about 20 billion US dollars per year in capex. Now, with this holding such a big as Danantara, we're asking them to double that capex. So if you can see 2025, the total capex is about 320 something trillion rupiah. We would like to see them to double that capex in 2026. Why? Because they have all of the resources that we're giving. We no longer ask them for dividend. So the state budget no longer receiving any dividend from state-owned enterprises. Maybe there's a little, but not much. So we let them keep that and let them leverage those and build strategic collaboration with many strategic investors. So we would like them to be able to double their capex. This is one of the key growth driver of our investment for the next years to come. We would like Danantara to build a lot of first consolidation and synergy inside Danantara between state-owned enterprises, maybe merge some of them to becoming more efficient. We would like Danantara as a strong entity to build collaboration with other strategic investors, to build more investment, to build more businesses here in Indonesia and also in many other places. So this is the way we would like to push our economic growth. The engine is fiscal, financial sector, and business climate. In terms of the GDP part, we would like to push more of investment. We used to be a consumption-based economic growth. We would like to push into more of investment-led economic growth. As a result, we're also going to build more competitiveness. That means that our export is going to perform also better. This is the kind of dream and this is the kind of aspiration and also strategy that we have from the government and in collaboration with many stakeholders. And we would like to invite you all to further look at opportunities in Indonesian economy and grow your businesses and we get rich together. Thank you very much.
We would like to kindly remain on stage. Yes, there will be a token of appreciation from Permata Bank. And for that, once again, I invite Ibu Melisa M. Rusli, President Director Permata Bank on stage to deliver the token of appreciation. And I also would like to invite Kun Chatsiri Sopon Panich and today's panelists, Bapak Fikram Sina, Bapak Adi Rahman Adiwoso, Bapak Bani Maulana Mulia, Dr. Kopsak Putrakul, Bapak Saurabh Mishra, and Kun Patama Sirikul to join us on stage as well for the group photo. Ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let's have a group photo together. Thank you. Okay, may you have closer, please? Thank you. Okay. All right, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Please give a round of applause, everyone. Thank you very much, Bapak Febrio, Kunchart Siri, Ibu Meliza, and all panelists. Thank you very much once again. You are kindly be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time now to dive into our first panel of discussion, exploring the theme of digital economy transformations, navigating opportunities and strategic imperatives for Indonesia's future growth. We are privileged to have with us a distinguished panel of speakers. Allow me to briefly introduce them first. Bapak Vikram Sinha, President Director and Chief Executive Officer, PT Indosat Tbk. Vikram Sinha is the President Director and CEO of Indosat Ooredoo Hutchinson, a seasoned global telecom executive with over 20 years of experience across Asia and Africa. Known for leading digital transformation and driving business turnarounds, he has held key leadership roles at Bharti Airtel and Ooredoo Group, including CEO positions in Maldives and Myanmar. At Indosat, Vikram has led its evolution into digital-first, AI-native telco, championing inclusive technology to empower Indonesia's digital economy. Bapak Adi Rahman Adiwoso, President Director PT Pacific Satellite Nusantara. Bapak Adi Rahman Adiwoso is the founder and President Director of PT Pacific Satellite Nusantara, a position he has held since 1991. A graduate of Purdue University and the California State Institute of Technology in aeronautical and astronautical engineering, he has been a key figure in advancing Indonesia's satellite and telecommunication industry. Throughout his distinguished career, he has held strategic leadership roles at PT Satelit Palapa Indonesia, PT Garuda Indonesia Persero Tbk, and PT Perusahaan Pengelola Aset. Widely recognized for his contribution to the Asia-Pacific region, Bapak Adiwoso has received numerous awards, including the Asia-Pacific Satellite Communication Council Lifetime Achievement Award, and has served as chairman of the Indonesian Institute of Corporate Governance. Bapak Bani Maulana Mulia, President Director PT Samudra Indonesia Tbk. Bapak Bani Maulana Mulia served as the President Director of Samudra Indonesia, representing the company's third generation of leadership. Founded by Sudarpo Sastro Satomo, Samudra Indonesia has built a strong legacy over 70 years in the shipping, ports, and logistic industry. Prior to his appointment as President Director in 2020, Bani held several strategic positions within the organization, including Managing Director, Delegate Commissioner, and Secretary to the Board of the Commissioners, reflecting his deep understanding of the company's operational and values. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to lead today's discussion and facilitate our exciting conversation, please welcome our moderator, Bapak Ahmad Mikhail Majid, Director of Technology, Permata Bank. Kindly join me on stage, Bapak Mikhail, Bapak Vikram, Bapak Adi, and Pak Bani. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause for our first panel of speakers.
Adi. Yeah. Please.
And now I will pass the spotlight to Pak Mikhail, who will set to lead us through the session. Pak Mikhail, the stage is
Thank you,
yours.
Arnita. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a privilege for me to be moderating our first panel session, Digital Economy Transformation, navigating opportunities and strategic imperatives for Indonesia's future growth. Indonesia's digital economy is rapidly evolving, reshaping how businesses engage with customers. But the key question is, how do we ensure this transformation is inclusive, competitive, and sustainable? This morning, we'll explore these questions with our distinguished leaders. Pak Vikram, I'll start with you. So Indosat has been at the forefront of this transformation. How do you see the growth prospects and innovation opportunities in 2026 and beyond?
Semangat pagi! I think we need some energy. Before I answer your question, we were listening a lot of good things about Indonesia. I think it is very important to stay optimistic. At a point where the world is going through so much of conflict, geopolitics, I think we are all very blessed to be in Indonesia. Let me tell you, I've been in this country for close to 7 years. Nobody can beat Indonesia in terms of hospitality and positivity. So again, selamat pagi, pagi, pagi. But coming back to your question, what we have seen, for countries like Indonesia, 5% is given, GDP growth. I just want to highlight the biggest opportunity which we have. In earlier days, we used to talk about building bridges. You connect bridges, 1 or 2% GDP growth will happen. I think this is a point of time where we have opportunities of connecting what I call AI and intelligence and connecting digital bridges. So at Indosat, while Adi is here, he's an iconic person. Indosat started with Satelindo, 58-year first company to connect Indonesia to the world. While we have to keep doing a lot of things on what we do on core, but the biggest opportunity what we have is how we can work together to pivot on what I call the opportunity which has put a level playing field for all the country on pivoting towards ensuring how AI and digital infrastructure can help everyone. So we have been investing a lot. For that, you need investment. Last year, we put up our AI factory. We started with an investment of $400 million. I'm happy to tell you there are very few countries in the world which has all the ingredients, water, power, land, at a competitive rate. And then we are going through that journey. And that is where our focus is, that how companies like Indosat, and I want to highlight one point to everyone here. Think of telcos like this. We have been in the connectivity business for decades. Connectivity plus compute, which is intelligence, and that getting delivered at edge in a sovereign manner is what the country needs. And that is what we are getting ready for.
Thank you so much, Pak Vikram. So I understand that collaboration, I think, is very close to your heart. We'll touch on that a bit more deeper in the later session. Okay, so now I'll come to Pak Bani. Pak Bani, Samudra Indonesia has more than 100 subsidiaries. It's a logistics company. It's very large, very complex. So how do you use digital technology to create an efficient company and the best services for your customers?
Thank you, Pa. But basically, Samudra's many subsidiaries are more due to regulation requirements and our existence in different markets. For instance, in Thailand, we have subsidiaries there too to comply with local regulations. But basically, the group give similar service, shipping, ports, and logistics service to our customers. So in a way, in the corporate level, everything is centralized, and of course, centralization of our corporate services, our corporate functions, as well as how we utilize them to give the best service that we can offer our customers are centralized using the best technology platforms. Yes.
Okay, thank you. We'll touch about maybe a specific technology that you use in your use case. Okay, now to Pak Adi. As the first private satellite company in Indonesia, what do you think that the future holds for the industry, for the space industry? And what are the opportunities for Indonesia to leverage on this technology going forward?
Well, that's a big question. But basically, the communication satellite today in Indonesia is quite mature. Currently, Indonesia, between PSN and PT Telkom, we already provided close to 400 gigabits per second of capacity over Indonesia. That means that anybody else who have very small terminals will access 400 gigabits per second. For a country the size of Indonesia and the archipelago, for the current year and the next 3-5 years, that's probably enough. And we still have foreigner coming in as well. Price is now becoming almost like commodities. I've been in this business 50 years. I've seen them price drop drastically. And also what we see, space today is not something scary. Today, worldwide government is investing more than $200 billion per year in accessing space. That's only US, Europe, China, India. So, and also the private sector, I was just checked yesterday what the market capitalizations of space is approximately $11 trillion today. It's a big business. What we've seen in the last 50 years in Indonesia is connectivity, like Afrikam said and everybody else, and we use that to connect. But beyond that, there are many things that you have daily use you don't realize. You use your Google, you use your Waze, you use your weather. All are space-based IT, AI. Now, PSN is pushing forward far beyond what I call the classical communications. We're actually trying to launch a rocket next year in August, touching the sky from Indonesia. It's now agreed with the government of Indonesia, and also in 2027, we will have a spaceport in Biak. So these are things we're doing, and we are also developing indigenous satellite capacity, and that allows Indonesia to have its sovereign system, and you will see many things that you have not seen available to you in the business, both in connectivity, communications, AI, also logistics that's coming up maybe in the next 2 years. It will change the way we do things, the way change to do things. The investment is large. The investment is not something simple, but the benefit is much more. A spaceport in Asia by Deloitte will give a $200 million business a year. It's not a small thing, and investment is not very large. Indonesia now have signed 2 letters of intent to have their rockets to be launched in 2027 in Indonesia. So we're moving ahead. So space is something will help evolve the Indonesian economy to be more efficient, easier to digest, and the cost will drop. So please just wait, and we will let you know how you have to adapt your business to this new things that are coming up fast.
Okay. Adi, I'm just staying with you. So there's a clearly huge opportunity for the space industry in Indonesia. So how do you think that we can ignite, more players so that, in this industry?
Yes, I think in many countries in the world, the government has released the restriction of space to the private sectors. The US now is one of them, but India, it's very, very simple. There are now 100 space startups in India. maybe 2-3 years ago, the government of India has changed its policy that from Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, to go to InSpace. And there is 20,000 talented space-related people in India. When they open up the startup, there's now hundreds. And the cost just dropped like a rock. Now, China is still doing that, but still quite restrictive. India now is, I call it wild space in that sense. America has been doing that. So we are now following a certain path and also working just a little bit secret. PSN also invested in companies outside Indonesia to make sure it has the next generation's technology. And we have looked closely with India, in China, and also in Europe. We're kind of a little bit afraid of US because of their situations where they require what they call end user certificate, meaning you have to tell them what you're using their goods are. So these are things that will allow this happen. And we hope in Indonesia there are going to be more and more people interested in going into the aerospace industry. It looks like far-fetched, but it's a big business. It's not a small business.
Yeah.
PSN has invested close to $1.4 billion in space as of today. We have 3 spacecraft up there, and we have launched 6 LEO satellite, and not many people knows that, but we've been probing that. We launched it from New Zealand in Mahaya, and we will keep launching in 2026, 2027. But now we're asking the young generations of Indonesia, this is an open field. It's basically blue ocean, and not many people is looking at. And we found out that Indonesia can do it. We have now about 500 engineers in our company who's just working on space, and we start disseminating this to the other young generation outside the company. So we want them to come up, and Indonesia, space is a new economy which we need to get there.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Fadi, sharing your views. Okay, so now let's deep dive in a bit more specific technology. Let's talk about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is in almost every other conversation, and I'm pretty sure that all of you have implemented AI in one way or another. So I'll start with Pak Vikram. So how are your use cases of AI in the telecoms sector, and how do you see that it will propel your company going forward?
Let me start by sharing my personal real story and experience. I was in Las Vegas with the top US CEOs. I was invited by Google. I was in a CEO circle. During the breakfast, the whole whisper on the room was AI is everywhere other than P&L. This is how the breakfast conversation started. But within 1 hour, I think at least I learned that countries who have started early and who have the right design principle, and also companies, they are seeing value of AI in their P&L. Talking about Indosat, after merger, once we got the scale, we had 100 million customer. In the capital market day, we made a bold statement. We articulated our AI North Star. It has 3 pillars. The first pillar was that as Indosat, we want to become an AI native telco. Let me tell you, we have been in this journey for close to 14 months. It takes a little bit of time. You have to get the data model trained. You have to have the right design principle. But I'll give you 2 examples. One, we spend around $750 to $800 million capex every year. Today, what is happening, I just issued a $250 million PO 2 weeks back. So models are telling me where to spend. So we were able to decide on 25 million, where my team said the ROI is 4 years, but the data and model was telling it will take you 9 years. So whom do you trust? I think the time has come that teams should not get defensive. They should use data and AI to be more productive. So there is a lot of efficiency on CapEx, which we have started seeing. This is on efficiency. But what excites us is on growth. We have close to 50 million monthly active app users. This year for the industry has been very challenging. I think we see some recovery, but this is a year where we are seeing first time telco industry, and I'm sure there are many senior leaders here, whether you talk about FMCG, whether you talk about bank, whether you talk about, all of them have been struggling this year because the lower middle class and poor, they have been very defensive, they are optimizing. In spite of that, we have been able to grow our ARPU just because of hyper-personalization. And that is helping us to take the industry back to growth. So these are the two examples which is helping Indosat. Because if I don't do it for my own company, I don't have the right to talk about working with enterprise and banks and all. But the second pillar is very exciting. What we call it TechCo. There are two things there. One is the AI factory and second is security. On AI factory, last year we started our journey. For you to start the factory, you need to have the supercompute. We started with L450. The pace of innovation is so fast. Last month, we went live with GB200 Blackwell. We were the first in Asia which went live. So the whole full stack factory is getting ready. I'm very sure today we have close to 28, 29 customers. Domestic, we have some regional global model builder, which is shaping up well. The third pillar which we spoke about, we want, as Indosat, we want to enable Indonesia not just to be seen as a consumption country. When you talk about Indonesia, when you sit on Silicon Valley, they look at Indonesia just as a consumption. We want Indonesia to be seen as an infra country, a creator country. So that is why we have put the AI factory, and we have everything. I said that we have very competitive rate on power, we have water, we have land. What we need is to invest on human talent. There's a lot of work which needs to happen, and that is the journey. But the other thing which we have started is Sahabat, which is our own large language model. I think we are targeting by end of this year, we want to release the app so that all 280 million customers can have their own dialects and how they can go through it. So this is the journey we are in, but this needs a lot of collaboration. No one company can do it alone. But the commitment has to be there, and the biggest learning I have is you don't have to doubt yourself. You have to go all in because the pace of change is very fast. So if you believe in it, just go all in and go with the right partner and ecosystem.
Okay. Thank you, Pak Vikram. You touched on it. I just want to emphasize that when you talk about AI, you cannot separate it from talking about data and how good the data is in order for AI to work correctly. Okay, so now, Pak Adi, anything that you want to add on top of that in terms of the usage of AI?
Well, from us, we are an AI users. We have also a GPU already working for us for almost a year now. But we do not solve general issue. We solve our own problem using AI. We have 15 very large gateway providing broadband over Indonesia using an extremely high frequency K-band, 2730 gigahertz, where it's very, very susceptible to rain. And our satellite are very smart. It has a processor. So it can move traffic by rearranging the satellite when one of the big stations get hit by rain. So we redistributed the traffic. To be able to do that, we need to have what we call micro weather prediction. So we use an AI systems to predict the weather within 1 hour and 15 minutes to make sure we can rearrange the network. We found out that nobody's doing that. We're trying to get at everybody else. So now our AI has made us able to get accurately predictions within 3 hours at 92%. What happened, we use it for ourselves. We're not a software provider, we're not selling. Suddenly, mining company comes to us, plantation comes to us when they have, so they're asking us to provide those services in their micro environment for mining because they need 2 hours to go down, 2 hours to go up. So now we have provided proof of concept, and it has been accepted by large mining companies and also large plantation. The problem that we have never sold a software, never provided a service of software. So now we are thinking, do we need to branch into that, or do we sell the systems to somebody else? Because when you sell a software, you have to have support, management, and we're not very good at that. That is our experience. The second experience we have to process space images. So we get images from somebody else. There's companies who are asking us to do that. So we merge optical, multispectrals, radar images together, and we can give them the trend, historical and future. Then this becomes a story telling itself. And it starts learning as well how things are progressing. You can see whether construction is right or not. There was one case a long time ago when they had a problem with base stations being developed by Bhakti, and it's very difficult to understand where this base station has been, constructed or not. So rather than have to go to all these places, we took a satellite image, a pretty high resolution image, and we can tell them this base station is still not operating, equipment is there, there's stuff. So then we can tell them through what is the projection, so when it has to be done and everything else. So these are our real life experience using what we can get from space and AI and give the prediction. So AI for us is something we have to live, grow with it, and we will have also optical satellite coming up in the next 2 years. So we have to have very fast processing. GPU can give us maybe in 2 hours, maybe now a little faster GPU, we can give us a much faster. Today, non-GPU, non-NVIDIA or something class like that will take a week just to run computers. So we're using them. Africam is trying to create a base for everybody. We have a need to do that. I assume that one day Pabeni will have logistic issues, where the boats are and everything else. So these are the things that we see our company software AI is going to go using space-based, because he needs to know where his ship is, where is their stock, or anything else. So that's where we apply to the AI with the real world in space to provide real earthly solution.
Yeah, okay. So thank you, Pa Adi, for that. So just on that point on being able to predict, the future outcome, right? So I think, in logistics, demand planning, route optimization, you probably already use this. So can you just tell us how the journey is on using this technology?
Samudra has been around for more than 75 years now, and we've operated ships from back in the 60s to the most recent technology. And obviously we also exist, we don't only operate in Indonesia market or Southeast Asia market, we also operate in a way, I would like to say globally, but we don't really scale globally, but we are in more sophisticated markets such as Europe and Japan. And so recently, we've also expanded our operations for domestic Japan, where ships there has definitely higher technology requirements. And also because of the situation in Japan where there's a decline of population, and of course there's less and less younger people who available even, and or the ones who would be interested to work on ships and sailors. And so that forces shipping companies like us and shipbuilders to install technologies and AI technologies as well. So with the ships that we operate in Japan, it has to have automated auto parking. They say the car, our cars now, even our electric cars can do the auto parking, right? But then the ships itself, we can do with auto berthing. And it's not because of they're lazy, but because of there's so many things that needs to be controlled in a ship, and that we need to be more and more efficient. So and manpower is very expensive in places like Japan and Europe. So that's why the technology goes even to voice command to berth the ship, to make the ship berthing precisely in the terminals. So these are the kind of things that we keep on improving, working together with the partners and shipbuilders, the shipyards, and the technology providers, and in many places, including China, of course. Yeah. Yeah. One of the example. Yeah. But other than that, of course, the simple ones, including to prevent human error in administration, in BL inputting, then machine learning, and of course AI helps us with that. And then, of course, what logistics operator need is to always to improve and improve more and more efficiency. And to do that, we have to minimize contact, minimize processes. So in our ports also, containers are scanned, and AI OCR are implemented as well in those kinds of operation. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. 3 different industries, very different ways of using AI, but everything for the operational efficiency and the customers. Very good. Okay, so finally, the last theme, it's about collaboration. I'll stick with you, Pak Bani. So how do you see collaboration going forward, to enhance competitive advantage and also deliver greater value for Indonesia's future?
I think it's very relevant in my industry. I don't think you can find any shipping and logistic operators that works solely without collaborating with other operators. It's how we coexist. Everybody works together with everyone. Everybody have a code share in their ships. We don't only carry our own cargoes, we carry each other and we collaborate on the services and the routes. That's how the supply chain globally works at the moment. So it's very important. And that's also says a lot about our optimistic view about Indonesia. I was just chatting with the chief economist of Permata Bank before the session starts, and we were saying that how Indonesia's potential is largely untapped, I'm sure, for Indonesia as well. And it's the thing is, the volume is, there's so many bottlenecks in Indonesia that the potential is unlocked. And this goes as well in my industry, I'm sure it's in the telco industry as well. But so the volume that is going around domestically in Indonesia or as well as going out and in of Indonesia is far from efficient. It's far from optimized. And so there are many, many things that can be done, and especially how we collaborate with global partners, people who, or companies who operate in much more efficient places, then how to bring those implemented practices and technologies into the size of Indonesia. So I'm sure what is being operated in Thailand is much more efficient than what is operated here. But we are a larger economy. So that's what is interesting for us to collaborate with other companies from other markets.
Absolutely. Thank you, Pak Bani. Pak Vikram, you mentioned collaboration at least a few times already, so let us hear from you. How do you see it?
Ibu Melissa is here. I want banks to take one challenge. Do we all know there are more TikTok account in Indonesia than bank account? This is a fact. There are more TikTok account in Indonesia than bank account. The reason for that is TikTok was designed as GPU native. They are hyper personalized. They are so easy to use. Why can't not bank make it hyper personalized and have more? I'm just giving you one example. The opportunity is in front of us. I think it will be a good challenge for Parmata to take. How do we make sure we make it easy? How do we make sure we make it simple? The other thing I want to highlight, which I was personally touched, I took a red-eye flight to Jayapura, 5 hours within Indonesia, and we were opening up a experience center there. I met a doctor from Jayapura who was so happy. We just gave them compute in a small edge data center to train their data. The doctor from Jayapura, he was telling that, Vikram, I will be 100% sure now that my patient is having dengue or typhoid. It is not easy. His success rate was 60%. Just by getting this compute intelligence, he can be 100, and that can save life. So the power and opportunity is immense, and we can only unlock the full potential when we all collaborate. So for us, Indonesia has this DNA of gotong royong. You go to the villages of Indonesia, how people selflessly come together for the larger purpose to help each other. So I think it is in the DNA of Indonesia, Indonesian, and we should really collaborate to unlock the full potential. We saw that 8% GDP growth. Yeah. I think it is good to have ambition, but it is very important to have very execution focus, and AI and technology can help us go there. And the beauty is, what touched me is, if you get to 8%, it will lead to zero poverty. So it has a larger purpose. So I really look forward to collaborate and do more on this.
Okay, yeah. Offer accepted. I think also challenge accepted. Bu Melissa. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Okay, so now to Pak Adi. Technology, satellite technology plays a vital role in supporting today's digital economy. How is PSN collaborating and synergizing with other sectors to further drive the growth of Indonesia's digital economy?
From us, we kind of a space guy, so the economy is on the ground. So we're trying just to enabling the use of more of what space can provide to the Earth. So we have to collaborate to the business side on the ground side, and we have to figure out what is the most adaptable, easiest, and possible, as well as cost-effective of the next generations to be able to be used, to be collaborated, and to be needed by the industry. Today, you see ground station, you need a little dish, whatever, it's square or dish. I don't see that anymore in the next 2-3 years. You don't need a dish. I just want to show you the first time in Indonesia what the next ground station is going to look like. This size. This is the ground station you can put in your pocket. It can transmit 2 megabits per second and receive 10 megabits on the ground. It will start happening at the end of next year. I think banking, anybody else needed transportation, you can put everything, you can manage your ship, your cargo, anywhere else. And this is going to be sold so cheap that it is ridiculous. We intend to provide these across the equatorial plane, and I have a partner who does the global thing. And this thing can live without a battery for probably around 1 year, and with solar panels, 10 years. The thinking is very simple. You use this, there is a lot of people going to direct device. A cell phone is expensive. Cell phone is costing hundreds of dollars. We think this is going to cost you $10.
Sorry, Pak Adi, what do you call this device?
We call this, it's actually a satellite terminal. It's a satellite terminal that you see in the, this is it. And this is the first time I show it to the world.
Okay.
Okay, we've been working with our partner for 2 years. We intend to allow you to send data per hour or 3 times a day, or if you ship, you can send more, in less than $100 a year. Not a day, not a month, and depending on what form. So you can put it on your tree, you can put it on your ship, you can manage your engine, you can manage this. We have been requested by many car companies in the world to put this one inside their car, especially like John Deere, so they can manage the, what's called that, fleet conditions of this. But I can see this for a bank. You don't need a DDC. And if you go to an airplane, you have a private jet, it costs you $18,000 per month to have an internet. This one you can put in your pocket, and you can have your private internet. It is not intended to be cheap as well for the internet, but it's intended to be able to provide services to collaborate with people. So I have now a team working on the platform. What do you do with this? It's a game-changing. It will only be 2 countries that will have this for the next 5 years, the US and us. So please use it. Think about what you can think, and we're ready to collaborate. And behind this, you get your data, and behind this, you have your AI. Collecting the data is a must for AI. How do you collect the data? And the data is a secret. That's the most precious thing that you will have. You will not share your data with anybody else. You don't want to have somebody else. You don't want a service. You want your own data. And this allows you to have your own data, and every ship's your performance. And if you have a container, you can put this in each container where they are, what you're trying. Yeah. So that's the intention. It will be available starting end of 2026, covering globally in 2027. So that's basically what I like to share with you. So we're open to collaborate. Yeah. Just think this is in your pocket. Do whatever you need to do.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you, Pak Adi. So I think we need to wrap up now. I'm sticking still with Pak Adi. So any closing remarks from you, just to wrap up the session. We talked about collaboration, AI, the digital transformation outlook. Just some closing remarks.
The digital transformation is coming to you like you like it or not. I had a session with several people last time, maybe about 3 weeks ago, with people who is doing quantum computers and also doing the AI. It's a deadly combination, quantum computers and AI. It's a very, very dangerous double-edged sword, very sharp sword. If you use it right, anything you can cut, but it can kill you so badly. Because who controls the quantum computers and the very fast AI basically can control the human knowledge. And it's scary. And that's the scary part. You need to understand that raw data, your native data, is extremely, extremely important and secretive. So this is something, a warning shot on the A side, but also a very empowering, because no password cannot be broken by quantum computer. Today, the GPU maybe takes a million years. It was a billion year on a normal computer on the 256 sophisticated code, but quantum computer can now do like 1,000 year. Maybe later on it'll be do it in 1 hour, 2 hours. Saying no data will be saved, but that's the scary side. And the machine can learn by itself and do a lot of things that is good and do a lot of things that is very, very bad. So to wrap up is that it's like knowledge. Knowledge is very good and very bad if you use it. We're just looking at how Indonesia will able to protect itself, having a very powerful AI, computers everywhere else, access of digital things. We have very little concern about security sometimes. That's a scary one. So I'd like to, space is also the same. Today, millions of pictures are being taken every single hour from above. And it's not done by government, it's done by private sectors. So some people know more about us than we know about ourselves. So just, it's kind of a warning, but it is very empowering, extremely empowering as well. So digital and AI and quantum computer is a very powerful machine that needs to be thought very carefully as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Pak Adi. Pak Bani, any closing remarks from you?
I think on the topic of having an outlook of 2026 and going forward, I think for us, we are extremely optimistic because the extreme example is in the pandemic itself, where the world stops, where we all stop, we stay in our homes, the supply chain does not. And actually it peaked, and it has proven with that. So going forward, it's only going to be, there's going to be more and more trade. Even with the tariff war and everything, this is only just a negotiation thing that's going on. But that's why you will see the global shipping companies, everyone is building new ships, everyone's ordering new builds. And obviously, you cannot stay put without implementing the new technologies. If you stay behind, you will die. If you keep on using old tonnage, then you will not be able to exist in the future. Right. So for us, is implementing technology, AI is very essential to survive in the future, and the future is definitely there, the volume is there, the trade is always going to be there, then we will have to change with the technology to exist in the future.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Pak Bani. And now finally, Pak Vikram, you started it, now you have to close it.
I will say three things I'll say. One, I think what we all need at this point of time is growth. So let's use AI for growth, AI for customer love. And these two things will only happen when we invest on our human capital for helping them unlock the full potential. So that is what my 2 cents will be. And I also want to compliment Ibu Melissa and Permata Bank. They have been a great partner not only for companies like Indosat, they support all my distributor channel. You know, I have close to 2,000 big one, small one, and this is the kind of collaboration we need to drive growth together. So thank you, Ibu.
Okay, thank you. So thank you once again, Pak Vikram, Pak Adi, Pak Bani. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much again, Pak Mikhail, Pak Vikram, Pak Adi, and Pak Bani for your insightful sessions and contributions. After this, we kindly ask you to follow our team, who will lead you to our photo booth for a group photo and token of appreciation. Thank you very much. Once again, big round of applause, everyone, for our first panel of speakers for today. Thank you once again. And now it's time to begin our second panel of discussion, where we are going to further explore the theme of driving resilient growth through sustainability. Again, we are privileged to have with us another distinguished panel of speakers, and allow me to introduce them as well. Dr. Kopsak Putrakul, Director and Senior Executive Vice President, Bangkok Bank. Kopsak Putrakul is the Corporate Secretary, Executive Director, and Senior EVP at Bangkok Bank. He is also the Chairman at the Federation of Thai Capital Market Organizations and the Chairman at the Community Organizations Development Institute. Dr. Putrakul holds a doctorate degree from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology and an undergraduate degree from Williams College. Bapak Saurabh Mishra, President Director IVL Indonesia. Born in 1967, an Indian citizen, Mr. Saurabh Mishra is an honors graduate in commerce and a graduate in law from Meerut University of India, and a qualified chartered accountant from the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, and also a certified director and member of the Thai Institute of Directors, Thailand. He has more than 30 years of experience in corporate finance, legal, internal audit, business planning, management, and commercial activities in a variety of manufacturing companies in Indonesia, Egypt, and India, engaged in manufacturing of textile, packaging, and petrochemicals. He currently serves as President Director of 5 IVL entities in Indonesia, an independent director at PT Indorama Synthetics Tbk, and chairman of Indorama's educational foundations, Rama Global School and Polytechnic Engineering Indorama. Kun Patama Siriko, ESG Steering Committee, PT SCG Indonesia. Patama Siriko is the founding president of the Thai Chamber of Commerce in Indonesia and an international business leader with over 30 years of experience across Asia. She has led SCG's businesses in Indonesia, Malaysia, Cambodia, Laos, and Vietnam. And today, she champions sustainability as head of the ESG Symposium Indonesia. And also to lead today's discussion and facilitate the insightful conversation ahead, please welcome our moderator, Ibu Catherine Grace, Chief Corporate Affairs and Sustainability, Permata Bank. Kindly join me on stage, Ibu Grace, Dr. Kopsak, Bapak Mishra, and Kun Patama. Ladies and gentlemen, the stage are yours.
I'll be sitting here, yes.
Okay. And Ibu Grace, I pass on the spotlight to you. Thank you.
Yes, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to our previous panel for the insightful discussion on digital transformation and its impact on the Indonesia digital economy. Building on that conversation, in this next session we turn our attention to another key driver of our future growth, which is sustainability. I'm honored to moderate panel discussion 2 of the Permata Bank's Economic Outlook 2026, titled Driving Resilient Growth Through Sustainability. In this panel, we will explore how sustainability can become a strategic advantage, enabling business to grow responsibly, strengthen resilience, and create lasting value for the future. This session will delve into real-world practices of business in integrating sustainability and ESG principles into business strategies. This panel will explore how green transformation can create economic value while supporting the low-carbon development agenda. Let us begin our discussion by inviting each panelist to share their perspective on the key challenges and strategies in advancing sustainability within their respective sector. We are truly honored to have three distinguished speakers today. Very good morning, Kun Patama, Mr. Misra, and Dr. Kovsak. It's representing organization with strong sustainability commitments and implementation. To help us better understanding on the context of their sustainability journey, we will begin with a brief presentation from Kun Patama Circle of SCG Indonesia and follow with Mr. Sorab Misra of Indorama Ventures. So the floor is yours, Kun Patama. Thank you.
Good morning, สวัสดีค่ะ everyone. It's my great honor having a chance to be here joining the Economic Forum 2026 of Permata Bank, especially in this panel that we are going to share about sustainability, in which is very important for everyone. So let me introduce my company a little bit so you know our journey of sustainability. For SCG, we are the industrial conglomerate established since 1913 by the King Rama VI in order to become the first cement factory in Thailand. From there until now, we diversify our business to cover many of the industry. Then here in Indonesia, we are here since 1992.
Okay.
And right now, we have 38 subsidiaries in Indonesia. Our business in Indonesia, starting from cement, building materials, decorative materials like kaya, ceramics, or distribution that you may know, Mitra Sepulu and Depo Bangunan. For SCG packaging, we have Faja paper and corrugated carton. SCG chemical, we joint venture here with Chandra Asri Pacific. And we also have logistic companies in here. Our business purpose, so all these, right? We are 112 years old company. So our journey can reflect our long-term commitment on sustainability. And right now, our business purpose of SCG is inclusive green growth. Inclusive means we include everyone, all the stakeholders, all together in order to go green. So we develop the product and services which is green, and then we grow together. So that's all about SCG, inclusive green growth. Thank you.
Wow, it's very interesting. We will look forward to hear more on SCG.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Misra, can you also elaborate on Indorama?
Thank you, Bu Grace. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Bank Permata, for giving this opportunity. So, at first, I introduce Indorama. Indorama is started in Indonesia, and this year is special. We completed our 50 years in this month itself. Is extended arm in Thailand, Indorama Ventures, which is petrochemical based, also listed in Thai Stock Exchange, completing 35 years of its journey. Indorama Ventures has 32 countries presence with 136 operating units. We have around 25,000 employees, and we have 4 business segments. One specific strength is CPET, which is PET resin for the packaging. We have Indovida, which is further packing, and then fibers for the textiles, and Indovinia for the chemicals. Our extended arm, our customers, and our products in each category is almost rating as rank 1 In the PET resin, we are number one. At the same time, the recycling of the PET resin is also, we are globally number one. Very specific for the textile products, like hygiene, the baby diaper, every second baby diaper is coming from our products. Also in automobile industry, every fourth airbag is coming from our products. Our customer base, you can see, we are joint hand together with all globally known partners. As our vision for the sustainability, we are very focused, continuously contributing in sustainability by various ways, in energy savings, through recycling, and some more which we will discuss today. In recycling in specific, in this year, we have completed 750,000 tons capability created, and we have further target to enhance to double it by 2030, 1.5 million tons we want to grow recycling on this earth, so that around 2.8 million tons of the plastic we can save not to go into the sea. Thank you, Bu.
Okay.
This is our task and introduction.
Yeah, thank you for the short explanation, Mr. Misra. So now we will continue with the moderated discussion involving all panelists, including Dr. Kopsak. So the first section on decarbonization, so my questions will go to Kun Patama first. SCG emphasizes an inclusive green growth approach to build a low carbon society while still maintaining growth and profitability of the company. How does SCG manage long-term decarbonization targets and still maintain the short-term profitability, especially amid geopolitical and tariff pressures? Kun Patama.
So thank you for your question, Bukres. For SCG, so we go back to our business purpose of inclusive green growth. It means that we have to balance between revenue growth and emission reduction. So we have to do this together. We cannot separate and choose which one, right? We do it together. For SCG, we set our target of net zero 2050. So next slide, please. So for our net zero 2050, what we have to do by now in order to reach that target? First of all, we have to use less coal in order to generate less carbon emission.
Yeah.
Second, we need to try to use the renewable energy and alternative fuels. Third is to develop the eco-friendly products, green service, and so on. So there's a lot of things that we have to do by now in order to be able to reach our target. So let me give you some example of what we have been doing here in Indonesia. For our cement factory, which is located in Sukabumi, the name is Cement Java. Okay. What Cement Java here in Indonesia do in order to reduce carbon emission? We do two things. First is to increase low carbon energy. So the energy that we use is, we try to reduce the usage of coal. Instead, we use other low carbon. Then second, we try to develop low carbon cement. Okay. In terms of increase low carbon energy, what we do, what kind of product that we are, what kind of energy that we do. Okay. We use biomass, we use renewable energy. We also invested in our RDF facility. Next page, please. We have our own facility of RDF in order to turn waste to become green energy. And the consumption of alternative fuels and renewable energy kept on increasing every year. So it means that we can reduce carbon emission. During the past 4 years that we walk this way, we can reduce carbon emission for about 200,000 tons of CO2 over the past 4 years, which is equals to the tree of 400,000 trees. That's what we do in order to reduce carbon energy. The second one is to develop low carbon product. Low carbon product of us, we use technology. We analyze how to utilize the energy consumption and how to increase efficiency of the production. So right now, we have our low carbon cement in the market already. And we got green label in everywhere, including in Indonesia. Our low carbon cement can reduce CO2 emission more than 50 kilogram CO2 per ton of cement, while still maintain the quality of the cement. So that's what we have been doing for SCG. And for our product of low carbon cement is widely accepted in Indonesia already. And right now, for SCG, we produce low carbon cement everywhere that we operate. And we can export low carbon cement to many countries like the USA, Australia, Pacific Oceans, and many more. Besides the low carbon cement, we also produce a lot of green products. And we found that green innovation or green product are growing in demand. That our sales revenue of green products kept on increasing year by year. So it means that right now, decarbonization can go together with the profitability. Yeah,
So,
that's what we have been
so
doing.
it's actually for you a bit easier to, to meet the good revenue while you are producing very low carbon because the market is accepting the low carbon cement that you produce. So you also have a lot of innovations, right? To come up with a lot of ways for you to use for instance, on the industry waste and the other ways that you can use. So it's very interesting explanation. And for Mr. Misra, so in the context of decarbonization, Indorama has a target of reducing GHG emission intensity scope 1 and 2 by 10% by 2025 and 30% by 2030. That's correct, yeah. And what are your strategies, and I think also include innovations, like I just heard from Kun Patama, to achieve the target?
That's correct. That's correct, Bu Grace. Of course, the challenge is big, but we are happy to update you that this year, 2024 itself, we just saved 1 million gigajoules in energy. And for our target of 2025, we are very committed and we are confident that we will achieve this. We are working on the subject in multi-directions. It's not only the energy saving by one way, but we are progressing in all directions. We are putting solar panel across around 17 sites we already installed, which consists of around 150 megawatt energy from the solar. We are also committed for energy through the renewable. Around 25% of our energy consumption is going to be by 2030 from the renewable sources. Something new which we are doing in specific from the S1 to S2, that we are coal phasing out, energy which we generate ourselves from the coal, in a specific, like example, Indonesia. Yeah. We have a big manufacturing hub in Purwakarta where we have our own captive coal power generation, which we now decided to stop, and we coal phasing out with the support from the Indonesian government. The PLN has come forward, and we have a scheme where we jointly investing, and they are providing us the high power 150 kV which we will step down through our investment to 20 kV usable, and that will save us around 200,000 tons of CO2 every year. Similarly, we are doing in Thailand. Also, we are going to save 600,000 tons per year by the similar arrangement where we are stopping our coal power generation and we will outsource from the electricity board. So this is the clear example moving from S1 to S2. We are also very innovative in different ways, like our PET resin is one, we are doing the recycling, which we are expanding across. But we are also doing something new, which we recently commercialized, that we convert our feed biobase, which is being supported by Neste, that used cooking oil is being made as a feed for generating the PX, which is paraxylene, a feed stock for the PTA, for PET resin or any textile products which we make polymerization. And for that we need the MEG that is also coming from the biobase, which we are even using in Indonesia. And our very regular customer is strong from Japan is the Iwatani, which is continuously taking that material. And the new one is Suntory, which is certified by ISC in the globe, is one of the very renowned institute is International Sustainability and Carbon Certified. We have around 10 units already getting the certificate for this.
Okay.
So we are very active in doing moving from S1 to S2 and from S2 to S3, of course.
So every breath is about sustainability, right?
Yes.
So I have questions on the solar panel that you use, right?
Yes.
So there's a debate with there is usually the debate is, on the huge investments that we have to have for the solar panel. What do you think about that, Mr. Bisa?
Not exactly, actually. Our experience is different and very good. There are two ways if you want to do the solar, that you do your own investment or you can lease out. So in Indonesia, we have experienced that we lease out from local suppliers, and they give us some discount from the electricity which we can have from the PLN. And we are having the establishment done by the agency on lease. We have not invested any amount, so that capex we can do in our some other improvements. It is just an establishment made by the agencies, and we are just getting the monthly billing at a discounted rate. So it is very convenient these days for the people to go for the lease system. And if you need to do by your own capex, the cost is reduced dramatically, very low. Our first installation in solar 5 years before and today is half the price. So this is not difficult. I would say that it is very encouraging. If anybody wants to do solar, please come forward.
Yeah, and also I've observed your research and development divisions for both SCG and Indorama have been playing a vital role, to come up with a lot of innovations. So it's very near on the innovations.
That's true.
Okay, so the next questions on the partnerships, I think that will also goes to Dr. Kovsak. Partnerships are key to scaling sustainability. How important is the collaboration with governments and related stakeholders play in your sustainability strategy? And what are the challenges? Maybe Kun Patama could start. Yeah.
So for collaboration and partnership,
Yeah,
right,
with the stakeholders.
this is very important because no one can do sustainability alone. It is big issue that we need everyone to do it all together. So for SCG cement factory in Sukabumi, let me explain you a little bit. We have been trying to utilize alternative fuels, right? And one of the solution is to have our own RDF plant in order to convert waste to become green energy. Okay, so we do partnership with public, private, and people. So for public, right? For public, that we do partnership is that we collaborate with the Sukabumi government in order to get municipal waste, municipal solid waste, in order to turn the waste to become green energy to produce low carbon cement. So that's very important because waste management is the big problems here in Indonesia and everywhere in the world. So right now we help to manage the municipal waste. Okay. Second partnership is with the private sector. For private sector, we collaborate with many companies that they have industrial waste, like Nike, Adidas, like that, because they produce shoes, and they have shoe soles or some part of shoe waste. So we can get their waste in order to turn waste to become green energy. So we partner with many private sectors in order to do this project all together. Then another part that we partner with is the people. People is very important. What SCG has been doing is that we have the project called SCG Mentari with the community nearby our factory in order to educate them for waste segregation. So they know, they learn that, okay, this kind of waste is valuable. They can sell to someone. But in the past, there are a lot of waste that is low values. So they just throw away or burn it out. But for us, after we have this program, what we have been doing is to have that kind of waste, low value waste, to our RDF facilities. And then they exchange with rice, with eggs, with cooking oil, like that. So they have better living.
Incentives. There's an incentives for them.
That's incentive, right? So we help the community to reduce the waste. Why? The community also get something as an incentive, like you mentioned, right? So far, we have been doing with 3 villages nearby our factory, and we have got like 2 tons of waste already. So that's the example of PPPP, public-private people partnership that we have to do in order to include everyone all together, go green together and grow together.
Right, agree. So how about Indorama, Mr. Misra?
Thank you, Bo. So I will not repeat what Ibu already said to save the time. In specific for our product is really also very important, the collaboration with the regulators. For the reason very specific, as I just mentioned, that the patrison, the packaging bottle, which is very essential today for your water, for any drinking, this is the most economic product. So everybody is using the bottle here, which is basically a polymer, but people call it plastic. This is not a plastic. This is 100% recyclable. And that's how we invested in recycling as well. So we are putting the plants to recycle the bottle. We collect the waste and we make another bottle again from the same material. But the process is so long that it requires more energy, more time, more money. For the reason the cost is high. And then when the cost is high, the people hesitate, of course, to spend. For that reason, the virgin material and then recycled material has a difference of almost 40% more high cost. The countries where the government is supporting by the way of putting the regulation, as you can see on the screen, across the globe, there are rules. The governments and then business houses are committed, and they are very aggressively working on the collection system. Very proudly, you will see that Japan is one country where the collection system is so strong that 100% waste bottle is being collected. In Asia, India is also very good. in this number is 60%. But Indonesia, we don't have the official number, but what we understand is around 40%. But the contained recycle going into the bottle, across the globe, you will see the North America, South America, every place there are rules like US committed to 50% recycle content to go. And Canada, again 50%, Mexico 30%, Colombia is 30%, Brazil is aggressive with the 45% plan. EU come with the new innovation that they have installed the DRS system. The DRS basically deposit return scheme, wherein when you are consuming any recyclable product like Coca-Cola, when you're buying a bottle, then you can just submit some money, which has a rule, and when you use the Coca and then you return the bottle, you will get your money back.
Right.
So this is what your connection with the product that you are committed. They are taking a deposit first before you consume it.
Right, okay.
And this DRS is not only for the polymer, it's also equally good for the glass or the aluminum or any plastic. So the object is that the regulation by the regulation bodies has installed for anything which is recyclable through the regulation is very strong support. So we request that authorities to come forward and then making these regulations across so the industry can grow much better and more economic.
Yeah. So because Indonesia is still really on a regulatory driven.
Yes.
So the intentions not to be get like incentives or whatever.
That's true.
Yeah. So
That's
we'll come to that maybe a bit later. So Dr. Kosak, do you have any comments on that one? Do you have any comments on the partnerships?
สวัสดีครับ Salamat siang. I think the question about the partnership in this field is very critically important. Let me share with you why I think it's very, very important in this way. This is very new field that people still learning. And this is also about creating a new legal infrastructures. For example, in my country, we are writing a new law, Climate Change Act, and also Clean Air Act. This is totally new for the whole country that we have to learn how to write a new legal code. And in fact, in terms of regulation, is also coming. The new energy structure is also being proposed to move away from fossil based into more renewable. We have something called PDP. This is the power plan for the country. And we also have a new tax code that is coming up. People with carbon emission will be taxed. Carbon tax will be introduced for the first time in the country. And we also need a new measurement. And we also need to have, in fact, the implementation will not be straightforward. I think the difficulty is that things keep changing. Like in Europe, they have EV mandate, right? But now no longer. I mean, they move it back. And in fact, we also need to adapt to the situation. Climate change changing all the time. So close collaboration, dialogue, discussion will be a key to success. And in fact, I also represent the capital market in Thailand. I just talked to my colleague. We went to our OJK together. We told them, please postpone the measurement. IFRS 1, 2, too difficult now. Give us 5 more years. So basically, I think we need to talk. Otherwise, all these regulations and laws will be detrimental to the competitiveness of everyone.
Right, okay. So, Bangkok Bank has a very strong commitment, right, to support clients' transition journey. And, this is like the next questions to continue with your answers. And how do you support the corporate clients, maybe they are still in the early stage of the sustainability transition journey, and what kind of products that you have been offering, and also as the Bangkok Bank has 14 countries network, and how are you going to leverage also on that one, Dr. Kausar?
If you listen from the SCG and Indorama, you can see that sustainability is not a side project. In fact, sustainability is a new foundation for the long-term competitiveness of the company. For Bangkok Bank, we've been in close discussion with our clients, and we serve them with three approaches. One is on the knowledge sharing and capability buildings. I think we have to learn together in this new changing field. As I told you, new laws, new regulation, new technologies that really changing rapidly. In fact, we arrange conference like this, and we also have our own academy for our clients, so that we can train them and let them plan the path toward net zero and changing their company. And it's very important to give the knowledge sharing to our own RM, our relationship managers, and also our customer. Second, the capability building is okay, but they need money, right? To change, need a lot of money to change the energy structures from fossil-based into renewable will cost a lot of money in terms of transition. So Bangkok Bank have been working with our customer and provide them green loan. We provide roughly about 10 billion baht at the beginning for the green loan in terms of solar cell adoption, energy reduction, and we also provide them with transformation loan, because this is not about just the green, but it's about the production. Decarbonized production will be very important. And finally, we also engage in terms of underwriting of the sustainability linked bond. We done roughly about $4 billion so far, probably number one in Thailand in this area. And finally, not only in terms of knowledge sharing, in terms of financing, but we also have to rewrite our law rules and also the credit underwriting process. The bank is now become more mindful about ESG, about environmental impact. So our customer like this, in the past, we would say, okay, you need money, okay, let's, good projects, good IRR, right? But now we no longer ask like that. We ask them, do you destroy environment? Do you have impact to the fish? And then we ask them to provide the right mitigation. So I think things have keep on changing, and it will getting tougher.
So I think what I understand from Bangkok Bank, you have this ESG academy that you also want to build the capacity building internally and externally. I think it's getting a lot of interest from the clients, right, Dr. Kausar?
Yeah, we feel that it's not only the customer who are learning. We also learning with the customer. So we find an excuse to create academy so that everyone can come and train together, and including ourselves. So basically, we only have 50 spots open for these years. 400 people show up. So they have to fight to get into the academy. And I think it's also very, very interesting way to do it, because we learn with our clients on the latest measurements, the latest regulation, the latest idea, and also technology. I think this will be a long, long way. But this is probably the right way to do it. Get everyone involved and then get everyone learning together.
Right, okay. So given the time, so we could now go to the almost like last questions of if each panelist can give us a simple piece of advice to companies, just beginning their accessibility journey, what would be? Maybe Kun Patama first.
So the advice a little bit is that sustainability is not an option. It is a must that we all have to do all together in order to survive. So let's start now. You can start small, but start now and start sincerely in order that we will be able to transfer the better world to the next generation. That's it.
Excellent.
Thank you.
I think IC has been one of the good examples of how sustainability is really embedding in your, business. And Mr. Misra.
Yes, thank you. So, as Ibu rightly mentioned, of course, sustainability is not just for one day, it is for the continuous process. What we want to submit here and then request to everyone to participate is the educate people on the sustainability.
Yeah.
And we are very proudly update that Indorama has completed around 1.1 million people educate on the sustainability through various sessions we created. We generate the trainers and then trainers train to the trainers. It is by all our own team across we are doing this drive. And similarly, we request everyone, every business body should think in the same direction that just investing in the sustainability is not enough until the regulators and of course the consumers all understand the subject and then the importance of the subject. So the education on the subject is very, very important, which we want to spread, and we are working from decade on the subject. We promote our own employees to contribute. They go around into the community, they take the sessions, and then we award them as a waste hero who come forward. We always recognize them. So we should jointly work together for such kind of drives and initiatives we should do so that the environment learn what we need to do. And everybody can contribute. This is a so wide subject that it's not that only the industry or the manufacturers need to do, as Doctor mentioned, that they are also contributing by way of providing the laws.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, because Indorama also benefited with your scheme. And Kontoni also, we are blessed having this support in our business. So the green laws is also one support.
Yeah.
So everybody can contribute in this. So we need to educate people as more and more possible.
Yeah, I think Indorama has been a very also good example of having a lot of working in regions, right? So thank you. And Dr. Kosak, do you have any simple advice if you have?
My simple advice would be, do not delay. Do it now. And look at it as your opportunities. Like Kun Pathama said, green products, green innovation can give you competitiveness in the marketplace. Don't look at it as a cost or something you have to comply. In fact, the market and the customer will reward you who can do it. In addition, I think lately people keep on talking that US is now no longer would like to go ahead with net zero, and they step back for many engagement. But I look at it, I mean, 3 years from now, they will have a new administration, and look at the way the climate crisis have progressed. I think at the end they will have to come back, and by the time they have to come back, the regulation will be even tougher than now. And it always takes time to comply.
Yeah,
So you should think of these 3 years as a period to prepare yourself. And if you prepare well, you will be the one who win the game.
We agree. So thank you, all distinguished speakers. We wish we could have more time. But with the insightful discussion with today, our panelists have shared not only their strategic approaches to sustainability, but also the real challenges shaping the future of ESG in ASEAN, from Bangkok Bank's effort to guide clients through their sustainability transition and expand green financing. To Indorama and SCG bold steps in circular economy and low carbon innovation. It is clear that sustainability is no longer a side agenda, but a core business imperative. We've learned that collaboration across borders and sectors is the key to unlock scalable impact. And ESG standard evolve, agility and alignment will be critical for business to thrive. To all companies that just begun their sustainability journey, the message just clear: start now, start small if needed, but start with purpose, with the sincere, like Kun Patama said. The path to resilient growth lies in integrating sustainability into every decision we make. Permata Bank, in collaboration with Bangkok Bank, is committed to support all clients in their sustainability journey. Thank you once again to all distinguished panelists for sharing your valuable insights and experiences, and to our audience for your engagement. Now I'll pass it back to our MC to close the session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ibu Grace, Dr. Kopsak, Bapak Mishra, and Kun Pantama for the very insightful, thoughtful, and meaningful sessions. After this, you are kindly to follow our team, who will lead you to our photo booth and for a group photo and a token of appreciation. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause once again. May I have a round of applause for our second panel of speakers for today. Thank you very much. A little bit throwback, ladies and gentlemen, for the whole day session. I would like to first mention a bit about what are we talking about in the first panel of expert panelists. We explored the economic and social impacts of Indonesia's digital growth, including labor productivity and macroeconomic stability, as well as the challenges in implementing AI technologies. Additionally, the panel highlighted how logistic and supply chain digitalization drove e-commerce growth and cross-border trade. We hope that this panel provides recommendations for businesses and the government on data security, digital sovereignty, and sustainability. And of course, we just heard the second sessions. We talk about sustainability that have shifted from compliance to a core business strategy, driven by climate crisis, geopolitical pressures, and ESG demands, with the panelists featured leaders in sustainability, including energy transformation, decarbonization, and transition finance, who not only shared their strategic approaches to sustainability, but also the real challenges shaping the future of ESG in Asia. We hope that this knowledge, ladies and gentlemen, we can make informed decisions, adapt to changing circumstances, and work collectively towards a prosperous and resilient economy in the coming year. And now we have almost reached the end of the event. To officially close today's event, we would like to invite on stage Ibu Evi Hiswanto, Corporate Banking Director, Permata Bank. Ladies and gentlemen, Ibu Evi, the stage is yours.
Distinguished guests, it is very nice indeed to see all of you here today. And it is our privilege to be in the company of such esteemed figures from Indonesia's corporate and financial landscape. Allow me once again to extend our highest regards to all distinguished guests, panelists, and valued clients present today. When we conceived the theme, Reviving Domestic Growth, Navigating Global Shocks, we aspired to prepare a forum that delivers clarity, foresight, and meaningful perspective. The two panel discussions today, Digital Economy Transformation and Driving Resilient Growth through Sustainability, have provided a sharp examination of the challenges ahead. On behalf of Permata Bank, allow me to convey our profound appreciation to our esteemed panelists for their valuable insights and the thought leadership they have contributed to this forum. Our commitment is to continue empowering, accompanying, and providing access to you, our loyal clients, by positioning Permata Bank as your trusted partner. I sincerely hope that Permata Bank Economic Outlook 2026 not only inform your economic outlook, but also fortify your confidence in navigating the year ahead with clarity and conviction. Thank you, and we wish you continued success. Good afternoon.
Thank you much, Ibu Evi Hiswanto, Corporate Banking Director, Permata Bank. Ladies and gentlemen, after such engaging and enlightening forum, it is now time to conclude today's event. We would like to inform you that we provide a link to access the interim report published by Permata Institute for Economic Research. Please scan QR code displayed on the screen if you would like to download the interim report. On behalf of Permata Bank, thank you so much for your kind attention and participation throughout the sessions. Wishing you a delightful lunch and a wonderful afternoon ahead. My name is Arnita. Thank you once again and see you at the next Permata Bank event. Good afternoon.